Welcome to Relation Tales. Please like this video and subscribe Relation Tales. We're grateful for each and every one of you. Let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's begin. When Mariah came back from her solo wellness trip to St. Lucia, she looked like she'd been carved out of sunshine. Her skin was dewy like a ripe peach kissed by the Caribbean sun, her smile wider, and her laughter louder, freer. She wore this silk-wrapped dress in coral and gold that hugged her just right. And when she walked into our kitchen that Monday evening, she smelled of vanilla musk and papaya. But something about her was off, and it wasn't just the tan lines or the beads in her braided hair. It was the way she looked at me, like I was familiar, but no longer sacred. I noticed it that night. The way she scrolled her phone with the screen angled away. The way her laughs got hollow, too airy, like they were meant for someone else. She blasted music in the bathroom while getting ready for bed, songs I'd never heard her listen to before. Afrobeat stuff, slow whine grooves, sensual melodies that didn't match the toothpaste in her mouth or the routine we once shared. She didn't lean into me on the couch anymore, didn't sneak her cold feet under mine, didn't reach for my hand in the dark. And I kept telling myself it was jet lag, until I overheard the call. I was wiping down the stove, half focused, half distracted. Mariah had her wine, sweet red, her favorite, and was curled on the couch with her Bluetooth speaker on and earbuds in. She must have hit the wrong button. Her voice echoed through the speaker like a ghost let loose. "Girl," said a familiar voice. Kendra, her wild, wine night best friend. That second massage had your soul leaving your body. I still can't believe you said his fingers felt like thunder. "Girl, you were in tongues." Mariah giggled. I froze. "Please," she said through her laugh. I almost asked him to marry me. I left that spa walking sideways. I thought I need a chiropractor. My knees went weak. I leaned on the sink. I didn't need to hear more. The words weren't innocent. Not how she said them. Not with the kind of giggle that sounded like confession hidden in joy. Later that night, she kissed me goodnight. Lightly, briefly, then turned away to scroll her phone under the sheets. I couldn't sleep, because the thing about betrayal, it doesn't explode. It hums, quietly, like a faulty wire behind your bedroom wall. You don't know it's there until the whole house catches fire. The next morning, I drove the kids to school. I watched Mariah wave them goodbye with that same sunshine smile. She looked so untouched, so content, so damn dishonest. We used to be golden. We met when we were broke. She was in nursing school. I was hustling 3 part-time jobs. We survived on ramen and late-night laughs. Built everything together. Our first house, our first car. We paid off our student loans in 6 years. We had our girls. Our beautiful girls. I thought we were strong. I thought wrong. The first real sign came last year. Actually, a burning sensation that sent me to urgent care. The diagnosis, chlamydia. It didn't make sense. I'd been clean, faithful. When I told her, she blinked. "That's impossible," she said deadpan. Maybe from a public toilet. I wanted to believe her. I did. But the ache in my gut didn't agree. Still, I buried it. We had 2 kids. A life. I swallowed the doubt. But now that call with Kendra echoed in my head like a warning shot I never heard coming. I told myself I was overthinking. Until Kendra sent me a message. No words. Just 3 videos. Each with the title, Room 236. Poolside massage. Balcony kiss. Underneath it, a line. "I used to think you were smarter than this, Devin." I didn't want to click, but my thumb did. The first video opened with dim lighting and sheer curtains. Mariah, my Mariah, sitting in a man's lap, laughing, grinding. Her mouth kissed his neck like it knew the shape. The second video, a spa cabana. She was face down, bare. A man with thick arms and tattoos worked his hands over her thighs. She moaned, "Right there, baby. Don't stop." She reached back, pulled his hand higher. The third one, the one that broke me, her on a balcony, wrapped in nothing but a towel, lips pressed against a different man. "This one's my favorite," she whispered to him. "You ruined me for anyone else." And I realized none of this was an accident. None of it was heat of the moment. It was a vacation built around betrayal. And she came home. To me. To our kids. To our shared bed. I turned off the videos. My hands were shaking. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I planned. Because this story wouldn't end in silence. It would end in reckoning. 3 days passed. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I watched her instead. Mariah laughed the same, cooked dinner the same, even folded laundry while humming, like nothing burned beneath her skin. But I saw it, the shift, the pauses in her sentences, the second glances at her phone, the sly little half-smiles when she thought no one was watching. She thought she was safe, that I'd never know. But I knew everything. And so, I did something I hadn't done in years. I pretended. Every morning, I kissed her on the forehead. Every evening, I asked about her day. I even brought her favorite coffee on Friday morning. Iced caramel macchiato, no whip. Her eyes lit up like old times. "Thanks, babe," she said. "You've been so sweet lately." I smiled. She had no idea I'd already copied her phone, installed software that mirrored every message, every photo, every notification. That night, I watched her text one of the men, Jay. That's all he went by. Just an initial. Coward. She told him she missed his hands. Said she thought of him when she smelled eucalyptus oil. He sent a mirror selfie from a hotel room bed. My stomach turned, but I kept reading, because now, I needed everything. By Sunday, I had a folder full of receipts, pictures, audio clips, screenshots, even a small video she sent him of her biting her lip while whispering, "Can't wait till next time." That night, after the kids went to bed, Mariah sat beside me on the couch with her legs tucked beneath her. We watched a movie. She reached over and rubbed my knee like old times. I didn't flinch. "Still my handsome man," she whispered, snuggling closer. She didn't know I'd already spoken to my attorney, or that I had an appointment the next morning to transfer our joint savings into a protected trust under the kids' names, or that I'd email myself every piece of evidence and CC'd it to a cloud account only I could access. I was dismantling our life, quietly, cleanly, piece by piece, because this time, I wouldn't be the man left crying. This time, I'd be the one walking away with a matchstick. Monday morning, I called in sick. I didn't go to the garage. Instead, I followed her. She told me she was doing a double shift at the hospital, but I watched her drive straight to a hotel off the freeway, a place with tinted windows and no ID required glowing in red neon. I parked 2 cars away, watched her adjust her mirror, fix her lipstick, text him, "Room 408. She stayed for 2 hours. When she came out, her hair was tied up, and she moved like someone whose bones had turned to water. She smiled at nothing, hummed as she walked. She didn't know I was 5 feet away, filming. She didn't know the hotel staff owed me a favor. She didn't know I had her entire check-in history from 3 months back. Names, dates, rooms. I went home before she did. Had dinner ready. Chicken Alfredo, garlic bread. The girls helped me set the table. When Mariah walked in, she kissed me on the cheek. "You cooked?" she asked, surprised. "Of course," I said warmly. "Family deserves a proper meal." She smiled and hugged me from behind. I swallowed the bile in my throat. That night, after the girls were asleep, I handed her a glass of wine. Then I said the words I'd been holding in. "How was room 408? The smile melted off her face like candle wax. She blinked. "What? You heard me." She stepped back. I don't know what you're talking about." "I followed you. I watched you walk in. I watched you come out." Her mouth opened, then closed. I kept my tone even. "Calm. I know about Jay. I know about the spa guy. I know about Rashad from the balcony. I know about everything, Mariah. Every filthy little secret you wrapped in perfume and laughter and brought back home like a souvenir. I can explain." "No," I said, raising my hand. "Don't insult me. You had 3 chances to stop. You chose none." She stood there trembling, wine glass in hand. Then her face hardened. "You cheated first." And just like that, the trap sprang. "I did," I said. 10 years ago. 1 kiss. 1 night. I told you the truth. I confessed. I cried in front of you. You forgave me." She stared. "But you," I continued, "you took that pain and buried it. Let rot. Then used it as your excuse to do far worse. Over and over." Her lip quivered. "You say I betrayed you once. Fine. But you betrayed our kids. You brought disease into our house. You laughed about it with Kendra. You filmed it. Bragged." Tears welled up in her eyes. "Devin, please." "No," I said, my voice shaking. "I'm done forgiving ghosts." I stepped back, walked to the drawer, pulled out a manila envelope, dropped it on the table. Inside were papers. Divorce, custody, financial disclosures, and a USB. Her face turned pale. What is this? It's everything, I said. And you have 2 days to respond before I file. You wouldn't. Already did. She reached for me. I stepped away. Don't, I said. Touch me with those hands. She fell to her knees. I'll change. I believed that once. When we were 23 and hungry. Not now. She sobbed. I turned away. Because the only sound I wanted to hear next was the slam of the door behind her. And the slow, satisfying burn of a man reclaiming his peace. Mariah didn't leave right away. She lingered for 3 more nights. Not as a wife. Not as a partner. Just a shadow in the house she once ruled. She tiptoed around, tried to be sweet. Made breakfast for the girls. Cleaned the bathroom. Folded towels with extra care like repentance could be found in lavender-scented fabric softener. But I didn't speak to her unless it was about the children. I'd already changed all the online banking passwords. Frozen our joint credit cards. Transferred key assets into a temporary family trust. One she couldn't touch. My lawyer said, "You're 10 steps ahead of most men in your position." But it didn't feel like a victory. Not yet. It felt like war in slow motion. Every moment was a minefield. The girls would run to her for hugs. Call her mommy like she was still whole. And I'd stand in the doorway, watching her face twitch as she fought to keep her composure. She was losing control, and we both knew it. But she didn't know what was coming next. Because revenge, if done right, isn't loud. It's silent, patient, surgical. I waited until Friday, the day she had planned another shift. This time, I didn't follow her. I followed him. Jay, the mystery man with the gold chain and gym rat physique. Turns out, he worked at a car rental agency 2 towns over. Had 3 kids of his own. Lived with a woman who wore a ring, but wasn't married. I snapped pictures. Took video. Got footage of him flirting with another customer in the lot, slipping her a business card with his number on it. Then I mailed everything. Yes, everything, to his partner. No note. No explanation. Just a flash drive in a manila envelope with 1 sentence typed out. He's not just cheating with your heart. He's borrowing your disease. I signed it. From the husband who caught the infection first. Mariah had given me something. And now, she'd see what it felt like to lose something back. An hour later, chaos erupted. Her phone rang 17 times. She ignored the first 16. Then came a bang on the front door. It was her, Jay's girlfriend. Screaming. Crying. Waving the envelope in Mariah's face while our daughters watched from the hallway, stunned. "You ruined my family." I intervened just enough to protect the kids. Mariah tried to speak. She didn't get the chance. The woman spat in her face and stormed off. That night, Mariah didn't sleep. I heard her crying in the guest room. But I didn't care. Because now she knew what ruin felt like. And I was just getting started. The next morning, I called Kendra. Yes, that Kendra. She sounded surprised. Nervous. "Devin. You owe me," I said flatly. She sighed. "Look, I didn't think. I don't need your apologies. I need your mouth. Silence. I need every name. Every date. Every detail. And if you lie, I'll find out." She hesitated. "Why would I help you?" "Because I know where you work. And I know you sent those videos using the hospital's Wi-Fi. Think HR would love to see that." Her breath hitched. 5 minutes later, she was spilling. Turns out, there were 5 men. Not 3. One was a traveling nurse she'd met on a conference weekend. One was an ex from high school. And one, God help me, was a local pastor who ran a healing through touch workshop she'd attended under a fake name. By the time I hung up, my hands were trembling. But I wasn't crying. I was focused. Because this wasn't just infidelity. It was a campaign. Mariah hadn't been lost. She'd been calculated. And now it was my turn to become methodical. I printed every transcript. Organized every screenshot. Sent it to her nursing board with an anonymous tip suggesting she was conducting illicit behavior on licensed medical trips. I didn't know if it would cost her job, but I knew it would put her on the radar. And that was enough for now. That weekend, I took the girls out of town. We stayed at a lakeside cabin my uncle owned. I didn't tell Mariah where we were going. When she came home that night to an empty house, she called me 27 times. Left 12 voicemails. Cried in 3 of them. Screamed in 4. I didn't answer. I was teaching my daughters how to skip rocks across water. Telling them bedtime stories about heroes who never lied. And sleeping more peacefully than I had in years. Mariah filed an emergency motion on Monday to try to stop the divorce proceedings. But it was too late. My lawyer had already submitted everything. The judge granted me temporary sole custody. Mariah's petition for mediation was denied, pending psychological evaluation and proof she had not exposed the children to risky behavior. She came to court in a navy blazer, hair neatly tied back, voice calm. But when the footage played, her in that spa, moaning, exposed, laughing like I didn't exist, the courtroom went silent. Even the bailiff shook his head. Mariah cried. I didn't. Because my revenge wasn't about punishing her. It was about freeing myself. And I had done exactly that. Mariah didn't take the court ruling well. The day after the judge granted me temporary custody, she showed up at my mother's house, where I'd moved with the girls, begging to talk. Not to the kids. Not to me. Just someone. Anyone. She looked like a memory. Pale. Lips chapped. Hair in a messy bun that didn't match her once glamorous image. The woman who had returned from St. Lucia with glowing skin and secrets now stood in front of us, stripped of all illusion. But I didn't answer the door. My mother did. She looked Mariah dead in the eyes and said, "The boys you were with. Did you even think about these babies? About what you brought back home?" Mariah didn't reply, just whispered, "Please tell Devin I'm sorry." My mother shut the door. That night, I tucked the girls into bed, read them Goodnight Moon, and stared out the window as a slow drizzle kissed the streets outside. And for the first time since it all began, I felt nothing. Not hate, not sorrow, just silence. I could have stopped there, let the law take over, move on. But justice doesn't always wear a robe. Sometimes it wears a wedding band that you leave behind on purpose. So I made one last move. I reached out to every man Mariah had been with, through burner accounts, anonymous profiles, encrypted numbers. Not to threaten, to enlighten. I'll let them know the truth. Not with malice. Just cold, undiluted facts. That she'd exposed all of them. That she joked about them. That they were never the only one. Each of them responded in different ways. Jay threatened to sue her for defamation. The spa guy blocked her on everything. One of them cried, said he was married and didn't know. She lost them all. Not because I needed her to be alone, but because I wanted her to see what honesty costs when it's delayed. 2 weeks later, I received a letter from her. Handwritten. The paper trembled in my hands as I opened it, half expecting some final volley of manipulation or excuses. But it was different. No denial. No defense. Just a story. About her loneliness. Her quiet rage. Her belief that she had become invisible in our routine. That I didn't see her. That she stopped seeing herself. And then, the regret. Paragraphs of it. She ended with one line that stuck with me. You loved me when I forgot how to be loved. And I hated you for it. I folded the letter. Didn't reply. Some ghosts deserve to whisper, but not be heard. 1 month passed. Then 2. Mariah's license came under review. She took leave from the hospital. I heard she moved into a studio apartment across town, near the freeway. Cheap rent. No parking. Kendra was no longer in her life. Most of her circle faded away. The woman who once called herself unapologetically free was now bound by silence. The girls asked about her. I told them the truth. Not all of it. Just enough. Mommy made some mistakes, I said. But she still loves you. Because even when the house collapses, the children deserve a safe corner. I made sure they had one. And then came the call. From the hospital. She'd been admitted. Pneumonia. Complications. Stress-related heart arrhythmia. She wasn't dying. But her body was telling her something. She asked to see me. Not the kids. Not her mother. Me. I went. Not because I wanted closure, but because I needed to see her one last time, to confirm that the storm had finally passed. She looked smaller in that bed, like time had peeled her back to her core. Devin, she whispered, I know I don't deserve this visit. You don't, I said honestly. She nodded. Then tears filled her eyes. I miss the way you made coffee. It was such a stupid thing to say, but it cracked me. Not because I missed her, but because I remembered the mornings, before the trips, before the lies, when love felt like a kitchen light flickering on at 6 a.m. and the smell of cinnamon toast warming the room. She reached for my hand. I didn't pull away, but I didn't hold it either. Please, she said. Forgive me. I looked at her for a long time. Then I said what I had come to say. I already did. Her breath caught. I forgave you the moment I let you go. She nodded, silent, and I walked out, without looking back. 6 months later, the divorce was final. I didn't celebrate. There was no champagne, no dramatic music playing in my head. Just a quiet morning, coffee in hand, a lawyer's email in my inbox, and a long exhale I hadn't realized I'd been holding. Mariah signed everything without a fight. No child custody battle. No alimony demands. She left the house willingly. Left the furniture, too. Said it all reminded her of who she used to be. I didn't ask where she went. I didn't need to know. The girls adjusted better than I expected. I kept their routines the same. Piano lessons on Wednesdays. Story time every night. Sunday pancakes. Extra syrup. They still missed her. Of course they did. But they stopped asking why she didn't call as much. And I stopped lying to protect her silence. Every now and then, I'd see her. Once at a grocery store. She ducked into the wine aisle when she saw me. Another time at the school fundraiser. She wore black, sat in the back, and didn't speak to anyone. She looked humbled. Not broken. Just smaller. Like the world had reminded her what consequences taste like. I didn't approach her. We didn't need another goodbye. One afternoon, as I was folding laundry, my youngest walked in holding an old picture. It was of me and Mariah. At the beach. Before the lies. Before everything. She pointed to her mother. She looks happy, she said softly. I nodded. She was, I replied. And so was I. That was all she needed. And all I had left to say. Some people think revenge is loud. But mine ended in whispers. A clean house. 2 sleeping daughters. And a man who finally knew what it meant to breathe without betrayal sitting on his chest. That was my justice. That was my peace. And I never looked back again.